Hello everyone, welcome back to Crystal Diaries. In our previous video relating to contract, we studied about the overview of the Contract Act and some basics of the contract law. And in this video, we are going to study about proposal, the types of offer, and the difference between offer and invitation to offer. So, if you remember, in our last video, we had read that what constitutes agreement, promise, and consideration. And what constitutes promise? Proposal and an acceptance. But now, what is proposal? We need to know what is proposal and what is offer. But before that, please bring your Bayer and your notebook along with a pen. Why? Because you can highlight the important points or the important provisions in the act itself, as we can simultaneously read the Bayer, as well as you can also note down the important points if I dictate any. So let's begin. So you have been seeing that I have been using the word proposal, offer, proposal. But dono same hai kya? Yes, they both are same. So offer and proposal are synonymous terms. Whenever I say offer, it means proposal. Whenever I say proposal, it means offer. So offer has been defined in section 2A, or proposal has been defined in section 2A. So come, let's read. So it's written, when one person signifies to another his willingness to do or to abstain from doing anything with a view to obtaining the assent of that other to such act or abstinence, he is said to make a proposal. Okay, so if you read it once, I don't think it will be easier for us to understand. So what do? We break the sentence into 4 parts. Okay, 4 parts. So what is it saying? So it says when one person signifies to another. Okay, what is the meaning of signify? Means he is expressing in a way. Okay, he is letting the other person know, right? So that is what we call signify. So when one person signifies to another, so there are 2 persons, let person A and B. Here person A is signifying to person B. What is he signifying? His willingness to do or to abstain from doing anything. So it's telling about 2 things. Either he wants to do something or he wants to abstain from doing anything. Abstain means he does not want to do a certain thing. So A is telling B that he wants to do something or he wants to abstain from doing that thing. But why is he saying that? He is saying because with a view to obtaining the assent of that other to such act or abstinence. So he wants to know, means A wants to know about B's willingness or B's assent towards that act or abstinence. Then we can say A is making a proposal. Suppose B is having a book. Now A comes to B and says, look, I want to buy your book for rupees 50. So what is A doing? A is making a proposal that I want to give you money, you get me the book. So if he would say that I want to buy a book. So he is telling about an act, or he is signifying about his act, his willingness to do something, but there is no assent which he is seeking from B, right? He is not. So mere expression of willingness does not constitute offer. There has to be a view to obtain the other person's assent. Then only we can say that it is proposal. So this is what proposal or offer is. Now let's come to the types of offer. So basically there are 7 types of offer. What are they? You can see on the screen. General offer, special offer, express offer, implied offer, cross offer, counter offer, and standing offer. So we are going to read about all these kinds of offers one by one in a descriptive manner. So the first type of offer that we are going to deal with is general offer. What is a general offer? A general offer is an offer that is made to the public in general. Okay, it is not made to any specific person but public in general. Now, anybody from the public who has the knowledge of such offer can accept it. So here we are going to discuss about a very important case law, that is Carlyle versus Smokeball Company. So what happened in this case? The Carbolic Smokeball Company was a company that indulged in manufacturing of medicine to prevent influenza, and they advertised in their advertisement that anybody who, after taking the dosage in the prescribed manner, catches influenza, that person will be given £100. Okay, so there was a person called Carlyle. She accepted it. She took the medicine in the prescribed manner, but she got influenza again. So what happened? She sued the company. She told that, yeah, I have taken the medicine in the prescribed manner as you have told, and you had guaranteed that you're not going to catch influenza, but I did catch influenza. Now you give me $100 or £100. So the company said, no, we have not made any offer to you specifically. There was no offer or acceptance between us. There was no contract between us. Then how can we give you? There was no contract, so we are not going to give. But what did the court hold? The court held that since they are making a offer in a general manner, they're making it to the entire public, and Carlyle had the idea about this offer, so she can accept it. This is a general offer. She accepted it. The moment she accepted it, the contract was active, and now since she is suffering, according to the terms of contract that was made by Carbolic Smokeball Company, they have to give her the money they had asked for. So this is the case of implied acceptance. Okay, so Carlyle didn't go to the company and said that I'm accepting your offer. No, she had the knowledge of it. The moment she consumed the medicine after knowing about it is the implied acceptance. So this is a case of general offer. Now moving to the second one, specific offer. What is a specific offer? It is different from the general offer when it is made to a particular person. Suppose I say that I am going to give you a book for ₹50. I am not making it for the public. I am saying you. If you are the person to whom I am going to sell, then I'll charge only ₹50. So only you can accept the order, or you can accept the proposal. So that is the case of specific order, of specific offer. Any other person cannot come to me and ask me, I'll get you ₹50, you get me the book. No, I am making it to a specific person. Now third one is very easy, express offer. Express offer is one which you are saying it orally or by words or by writing. So if you're saying someone orally, that is express offer. If I say you that I'm going to give you my car for ₹2 lakhs, that is, I'm offering you something in an oral way. Similarly, if I'm writing a letter to you and I'm saying you, okay, I'll give you ₹50 and you please send me the books. So this is an express offer whereby I'm writing. Now the fourth one is implied offer. So the implied offer is made otherwise than in words. So here you're not saying anything. It is implied. So the best example regarding this is bus stop. You find in bus stop, the bus automatically stops, the passengers get into the bus and they travel, right? Here the bus, is it saying please come inside, or we are going to take you this way? Of course they're saying that, they're mentioning you about the destination, but are they saying that we are offering please come inside? No, they don't say. When the bus stands in the bus stand, it is making an offer. What sort of offer is that? It is an implied offer. And the moment you get into that bus and you sit, you have accepted their offer. Okay. Now coming to the fifth one, cross offer. So this is made in ignorance of offer. It is a very, you can say it's a very rare kind of offer. Suppose there are two persons, A and B. A is telling that I have a flat and I will give you for rupees 50 lakhs to B. And at the same time, B is telling A that you have a flat and I want to buy it for rupees 50 lakhs. So both are conveying the messages maybe in the post. Okay, so both are making exactly the same offer. So this is the case of crossover, but it is very rare, I can say that. So it is the same offer to each other at the very same time. Now coming to the next one, counter offer. What is counter offer? It is the rejection of original offer and you're making a completely new offer. The best example regarding this is when you go to a sabzi mandi or when you go to buy some vegetables. The shopkeeper says that I'll charge rupees 20 for 1 kg potatoes. But you say no, I'll get you 18 rupees for 1 kg of potato. So he agrees. So did you agree to the original offer? No. You made a new offer of rupees 18 per kg which he accepted. So this is a case of counter offer. So you are completely rejecting the original offer and you are bringing a new offer. Okay, this is the case of counter offer. And now the last one is standing offer. Okay, it is also known as open offer or the continuing offer or standing offer. And it is open for a period of time. Okay, and the best example for this is tender. Like it is a tender is made where companies are asked to make the prices or to give their quotation of the prices for a particular period of time. So this is the case of standing offer. Now let us understand the difference between offer and invitation to offer. But before understanding about offer and invitation to offer, let me tell you a very important case law which actually distinguished between offer and invitation to offer. And the name of the case law is the Pharmaceutical Society of Britain versus Boots Chemist. So what happened in this case? So here the defendant were a chemist shop. Okay. So they had brought out a completely new method of purchasing medicines. That is, customers had to go to the shelves where the medicines are stored or they are displayed. The customers have to pick up the required medicine and bring it to the counter to purchase. But the petitioner, they brought a suit against the defendant stating that it is wrong as it violated Pharmacy and Poisons Act, which requires the supervision of a registered pharmacist for sale of any item in the medicine. So you can't say like any person can go to the shelf, can take out the medicine. It is in violation with that act. So the issue was whether the contract of sale was concluded when the customer selected the product from the shelf or when the items were paid for. And what did the court hold? The court held that the contract of sale is completed when the money is paid at the counter and not merely at the selection of a medicine for the display. Okay? When a customer selects a medicine from display, he does not accept the offer of the shopkeeper. Rather, he makes an offer to the shopkeeper to buy that medicine. Now it is upon the shopkeeper either to accept or revoke the order. And display of medicine in store is not offer but invitation to offer. Also in this case, there was a registered pharmacist who supervised the sale of medicines who was sitting at the counter. So the boot chemists were not held liable. Okay. So this is the important case which speaks about the difference between the offer and invitation to offer. Now as you can see, I have made two boxes wherein it is written the difference. So let us read one by one. So offer is when one person expresses his will to another person to do or not to do something to take his approval. It is known as offer. So this is given in section 2A of the Contract Act. And what is invitation to offer? When a person expresses something to another person to invite him to make an offer, it is known as invitation to offer. Now this is not mentioned in the Indian Contract Act. What is the next difference? the offer is made with an aim to create a contract. Okay, but an invitation to offer, it is made with an aim to invite others to make offer, and when that offer will be accepted, that will lead to contract. The third difference is the acceptance amounts to contract. We have read it. Now, invitation to offer, acceptance of the invitation amounts to further offer, which if accepted becomes contract. Now, what is the fourth difference? Offer gives rise to legal consequences, but invitation of offer, it gives rise to no legal consequences. So I hope you liked the video, and I will always try to make it very concise so that you can understand bit by bit, and I'll make sure that no point is missed. And also I shall make a whole separate video in which I shall be explaining the important case laws relating to law of contracts that are mostly asked in the examination. And you can check the subsequent videos relating to contract laws in my playlist. So till then, take care and keep revising. Thank you.